Good morning, entertainment daily lovers. Welcome to Politics Today. We've been covering a lot about politics today because there is a story that keeps giving and big names are involved, and there's no way we're just going to sit on the side and look at this. We're going to keep reporting until justice, we believe, is served, and justice served would be proving who's lying, who's telling the truth, and all of that. So let me quickly check our sound and um we're going to get right into the conversation right about now. Okay, so I think our sound is great so far. If you're watching the replay, please like, also drop your comments, and look, Professor Mgbeke is talking and she's not backing down. You know, she said she's going to expose Senator NATASHA, Dr. Oby Ezekwesili, and so much more. You know, Dr. Abiola, FDA, and many more people that are involved in this whole thing of bringing down the presidency, the Nigerian president, and they are trying to go through the Senate president, go to Lakpabio, all of that. But anyways, on this particular episode right now, we're discussing, we are going to be talking about Dr. Oby Ezekwesili. Remember yesterday, even on a short I dropped on Facebook. If you're not following us on Facebook, please follow us on Facebook because I just dropped shorts here and there. Okay, so after yesterday's live stream, I went on Facebook, dropped a comment on uh Professor Mbeke's page, that's Sandra Duru, the lady that is exposing, and immediately people came in with the attacking. Yeah, you're one of the Natasha's followers and this, and I'm like, yo, calm down, calm down. I'm not asking you, all of you in this comment section, attacking and talking and screaming on top of your lungs. I have a question to ask Professor Mbeke. So luckily, I think after the people started, commenting, that drew her attention. She came in and she responded back, which my question was, at Professor Mgbeke, if you don't mind, as ma'am, also, I don't know how I said, if you don't mind, I have a question for you. And then I dropped the question and I said, why didn't you bother addressing the situation of Akpabio's phone number being found on your video at a so point in your live stream? And she responded back and said, I have addressed that to the best of my knowledge. And I said, thank you. And I moved on to the next. And somebody else now came in. Reasonable people always come in. And the person said, go down, scroll down her page, and you will find it. And I said, thank you. And we moved on with that. So people were like, why are you asking questions? And I said, I'll keep asking all of them questions. I said the same about Natasha. Oby Ezekwesili. I also dropped a video. I said, Oby Ezekwesili, your silence is deafening. The Abiola and the FDA, these three people that Professor Mgbeke had mentioned, is deafening. If you don't respond, if you people don't say anything, this is not a joke. 100 million naira being paid to Oby. If you don't, for those that do not know who Dr. Oby Ezekwesili is, I'm just going to read a few stuff about this woman, and you know that she's someone that has done well for herself, and she's someone that people should be proud of her achievements and emulate in terms of her achievement. I'm not talking about her personal character, her personal life at home. No, I'm talking about what this woman has achieved as a woman. It's something that people can emulate. So when she had that issue with Mr. What's his name? Something. What's his first name? I forgot his first name now. The senator that was insulting her and calling her a disgrace to womanhood, and she's a what, a non-entity or something like that, the Nwabonyi. And I'm like, who knows you, Nwabonyi from Ebonyi State? Nobody knows you, but everybody knows who Dr. Oby Ezekwesili is. Okay, so I don't know how she's an embarrassment to womanhood. She's not. She's actually the opposite, someone that women should be proud of because she's done well for herself. So we're going to be going into Dr. Oby Ezekwesili's response, and we're also, and I like the fact that she responded. I will give my own opinion, okay, and we're also going to go back to Professor Mgbeke, which is Sandra Duru, okay, her real name is Sandra Duru, but we call her Professor Mgbeke because that is her media names, and she's using her media profile to really talk about this. She's using both though, but posting more on her media profile, Professor Mgbeke. So we're going to read what Dr. Oby Ezekwesili said, And I also have one question. This Facebook page that posts about Dr. Oby Ezekwesili is not verified. And I think that's very weird. Those that know who Oby Ezekwesili is and who all the people managing her page, get her profiles verified. It is weird that the profile is not verified. Every other person, Professor Mbeke's own is verified. NATASHA Akwoti is verified. Many other people's profiles are verified. Someone as Dr. Oby Ezekwesili should not be using a social media handle that is not verified, because having that blue tick shows us that you've actually proven that this is your professional. So I want to actually put that also out there, so we don't come out tomorrow and hear that those posts were not directly from Dr. Oby Ezekwesili, but they post a lot about her. We will get to that. But before, for the benefit of those that are not Nigerians or from other African countries and outside, because this involves everywhere, it's everywhere. They are reporting to the UN, they are going here, they're doing that. And Dr. Oby is also not just someone that is restricted to Nigeria in her achievements and things like that, you know. So I will just give you a little bit about who Dr. Oby Ezekwesili is. So let's go over to Google, and you can also Google her to read more about her. But I just want to give you a little bit about the woman we're talking about that is being accused, or that is being alleged by Professor Mgbeke that she was bribed by NATASHA Akpoti, the senator. So Oby Oby Ezekwesili, born 28 April 1963, is a Nigerian economic policy expert, an advocate for transparency, accountability, good governance, and human capital development, a humanitarian and an activist. She is a former vice president of the World Bank African region, co-founder and founding director of Transparency International, co-founder of the hashtag Bring Back Our Girls movement, and has served twice as federal minister in Nigeria. She is also the founder of Fix Politics Initiative, a research-based citizen-led initiative. The School of Politics Policy and Governance, SPPG, and Human Capital Africa. Oby Catherine Ezekwesili, Federal Minister of Solid Minerals, Nigeria, in office from June 2005 to June 2006. The road who she was proceeded by, and then Federal Ministry of Education, Nigeria, in office June 2006 to April 2007. Then they moved on to proceeded by, for those are not at then personal details. She was born on 28th of April 1963. So as at when they put this, she's age 61. I think that she's 62. She's from Anambra State in Nigeria. Spouse, I won't say her spouse's name. Number of children, that's not our business. Also, is not related to what we're talking about. But she has kids, she's married. Education, Harvard Kennedy School, University of Lagos, University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Profession, chartered accountant, economics policy. Nickname, Madam Due Process. So her nickname is Madam Due Process. Fondly called Oby Ezekwesili, is a member of the board of directors of Women Political Leaders, a member of the Fondeco Dom Cabral, and the chairperson of the board of Isua Ahob. Board of Trustees. Ezekwesili is also a chartered accountant, public analyst, and a senior economics advisor from Anambra State. So I will leave it here, okay? I don't want to go into deep, but I just wanted to give you all a little bit about the woman that we're going to be discussing about. So up next, what I want to do now is to find Oby Ezekwesili's page, and we're going to go right in and pull up those stuff from there. So Senator NATASHA, like we know, responded back to this lady that is exposing Sandra Duru, and Sandra Duru fired back. And anybody that says anything, Sandra Duru will most definitely also fire back. Okay, so let me type in Oby's name, Oby Ezekwesili, and we will just go into this. Okay, so like I said earlier, the page has 14K followers, 2 following, fierce, passionate believer in the public good and nation, serving before leading. So then the first thing we see here says the world sees how they, okay, so I'll just read from, should I read from down or should I read from up? Let me see, wait. Okay, let me read from down. So I guess it will make more sense. Okay, so 5 days ago, this page had posted happy birthday to this. So she's 62 now. Okay, it was posted 5 days ago. Happy birthday to this year 62nd, caught up with us at Cambridge, Massachusetts, where I am part of the faculty mentor, and this year at Harvard Ministerial Leadership Forum. Okay, so she was in the US doing her thing over there, but that's not what we want to post about. I just wanted to. So after that post from 5 days ago, the next thing she posted was 13 hours ago, and it says, "Memo to Senator Akpoti Uduaghan." Now let's get right in. Memo to Senator Akpoti Uduaghan and all the truly honorable citizens of Nigeria. Once again, Senator NATASHA Akpoti, you will never walk alone. I see how my unwavering support for your cry for justice has sent your adversaries into a frenzy, resorting to desperate, laughable falsehood. And she added 3 laughing emojis. She continued, rest assured, and she tagged at Biolak, the distinguished women of FDA, and I will continue to stand with you wholeheartedly. Our commitment to justice is unshaken, and we will not relent until justice is served. We simply despise injustice and the abuse of power, period. No sensible and decent person who knows my incorruptible track record is deceived by the ridiculous fabrication being peddled by your predecessors. They know without a doubt that no amount of money, not even all the wealth in every central bank in the world, can buy my conviction, voice, and stance on any matter I choose to support. So worry not, Senator Akpoti Uduaghan. You will continue to have our unwavering sacrificial support in your resolute to fight against a brigade of irresponsible politicians led by the Nigerian Senate President at God's will Akpabio. So that's the first one. I will also jump into comment section in a bit, but I will read all the posts concerning this first to you, then I'll probably come back and give you the comments. Okay, so let me go to the next one I see here. Okay, hold on. So this one was posted 13 hours ago, this memo to Senator Akpoti Uduaghan. Then the next post is, let me see it, was posted the same 13 hours ago. So as at like within short time, she made 2 public posts. So the second one says, the world sees how they have captured our public institutions for their selfish benefit, corruptly abuse their position to silence, intimidate, and endanger you, but they will fail. Do not be discouraged by this latest onslaught. We will continue to stand with you, demanding a fair hearing and an independent investigation into your petition against Senator Akpabio for sexual harassment. The Senate President cannot dodge the inevitable forever. My fellow honorable citizens, we all know that sacrifice is foreign to to most of Nigerian so-called political leaders, or should I say, ruiners. They cannot fathom the concept of service because money and their belly are their gods. In contrast to their corruption and greed, I, like many of you, will continue internally to live a purpose-driven life of sacrifice in the unrelenting fight for a decent and just Nigeria, where leaders are held accountable for good governance. Every decent, reasonable Nigerian knows that my unshakable value, conviction, voice, and stance on public interest issues cannot be tarnished, no matter how hard they try. Ignore their lies, dismiss with contempt their desperate theatrics. A feeble attempt to divert attention from the sexual harassment petition against Senate President Akpabio by the distinguished Senator NATASHA Akpoti, demand for justice for her because injustice to one is injustice to all. Madam Senator, as you so powerfully declared, this injustice shall not be sustained. We, along with every truly honorable and reasonable Nigerian, stand with you unwavering, freely, all the way. So fight on until justice is served. These are the two posts that was made by Oby Ezekwesili, responding back to everything. But in this, you can clearly see that she's stating that anybody that knows her, anybody that knows her track record knows that she has not. Now, there's also something, and let me give my opinion a little bit, and I will bring what is it called, the comments. We'll go through the comment section on both posts, and then we'll go over to Professor Mbeke's page also and read her response and also go through some comments. Okay, so now let me say something about this. A lot of people were saying that Senator Natasha came out and said she was sexually harassed by Senate President Godswill Akpabio, and everybody believed her. That why now that Professor Mgbeke is out saying that she's lying, people cannot believe her. But at the same time that people are feeling like, oh, you people just want to be stuck with Natasha and not believe anything that Professor Mgbeke is saying, Professor Mgbeke came out and said 100 million naira was paid to Dr. Oby Ezekwesili and those other people, like they've already been bought over to Natasha's side, including one TV station, Arise TV, right? They've been bought over to Natasha's side. These were her words against Natasha, okay? She did not present any evidence, bank transaction and things like that that prove, but you people already believe. Those of you that are on her side, look, for people like me, our job is to come here, report the news, give our opinion. We cannot be on anybody's side. We are just there to report from both sides, you know, critically look at what they're presenting. And if we feel like there are still loophole is not enough, that's what we're going to say. Okay, you have to give us the full thing for us to know who is lying or who's telling the truth. Now, moving on, people want to believe that, but they've not proved, she has not proven, Professor Mgbeke has not proven beyond no reasonable doubt that yes, that 100 million was paid. Because if we're seeing 100 million naira being transferred from Natasha's account or any account that is associated with Senator Natasha to Dr. Oby Ezekwesili, then we can question what it was that 100 million naira for, what job, what program, what initiative, what are you people, what NG, like what is it for? What is that money for? What job are you doing for Senator Natasha that you're being paid 100 million? We can question that. And if she cannot answer, and whatever she responds, her response is, from there we can also draw the conclusion. But that receipt has not been posted yet by Professor Mgbeke. So it is now her word against Dr. Oby Ezekwesili's words. Okay, it's the word of Professor Mgbeke against her words. So let's wait and see if that is actually going to be posted by Professor Mgbeke. But Professor Mgbeke has actually responded. But we can clearly see that Dr. Oby Ezekwesili is saying, even with all the money in the World Bank, all the World Bank in the world given to her, it will not deter her from standing and fighting for justice. And she has also said, and if you've seen some of her previous videos, where she said she started very young, fighting in the streets of Lagos. She's been beaten. She's gone through a lot. That she has actually, started. People might be thinking that, oh yes, now you're a woman that's connected, you have money, you have all this, you've achieved all of this in life. People respect you. That's why you're now an activist and doing things like that. But that if you go back and check, you will actually find out that she has started before now. So let me know in the comment section what you think. Do you believe that 100 million naira was paid to Dr. Oby Ezekwesili, or do you believe Dr. Oby Ezekwesili when she said that even with all the money in the world, nobody can buy her over, that she will always stand? Because at the end of the day, Professor Mgbeke also said the same thing, that Senator Natasha offered her allegedly 200 million. And even was, first 100 million, then 200, then she will even give more. Do you want it in dollars? Do you want it in pounds? Do you want it to what euros? What do you want? I can pay whatever. The money is not the problem. The people that I'm working with, they have the money. They're going to pay you. Just name your price. So you work for us. And she said she cannot be bought over. So Professor Mgbeke, Sandra Duru is saying she cannot be bought over no matter what. She stands for justice. Dr. Oby Ezekwesili, that she has accused, also is saying, check my track record. You know that I'm not the type that can be easily bought or bribed. So let me know what you think. Who do you believe? Okay, at this point. All right, so let's go into this second post of Oby Ezekwesili, and let's read some comments. Let's take about 5 or 6 comments, and then we'll go back to the other first post she made, take some comments, and then we'll go over to Professor Mbeke's page and also read her response to this post of Oby Ezekwesili. So in no order, I will just read from top from the first comment I see here. This person said, why are you not suing Professor Mgbeke for defamation? What she alleged is too much for this grammar. Sue her and let us see all of una well. Okay, so this person is saying, why are you not suing her? You know, okay, so this person also have a point. And that's true. What Professor Mgbeke has actually said is a lot. And to prove your innocence, at Oby Ezekwesili, it would be right to sue Professor Mgbeke, because Professor Mgbeke is claiming she has evidence. So going to court, she will present those evidence and we will know. But let's watch this, how this whole thing plays out, okay? Political, and things like that. Let's go. The next commenter said, did you collect the money? This other person said, Madam Oby Ezekwesili, if only you can reflect from the statistics of the comments here, the hays and the nays, you are most likely going to come to the conclusion that you have lost the trust of many Nigerians. Many Nigerians who hitherto respected you are disappointed at the way you played your idleness. Your calibration was at a lower level when you jumped on this bait. You may not admit it yet. I know you are having your serious regrets, either the way you handled the whole thing or the way you lose guide to expose the transaction. Many people were sad at your hasty attempt to become a plaintiff in a case where you lack local standing. The philosophy of the philosophy of employee to take the first shot against the government was a low IQ. This person's comment is very long. Let's go to the next one. Addressing the issue Sandra Duru alleged against you, or shut up. You are shameless, a blight to our memory and a disgrace to our nation. You know, one thing I've noticed that Nigerians do that I think is very, very sad, and because this is what we're discussing. You see this thing where somebody will say something, and we live in a free world where we should all have freedom of speech. Believe what you want to believe. Allow other people to believe what they want to believe. Don't bully. Don't try to bully into silence because you believe otherwise. If you can also believe that somebody as Dr. Oby Ezekwesili can be bought over, then allow other people to believe that Sandra Duru also can be bought over. Okay? Allow people to believe what they want to believe. If you believe that Senator Natasha is lying, Godswill Akpabio is the one that is not lying, so be it for you. But if somebody else believes that Godswill Akpabio is the one lying and Senator Natasha is not lying, so be it. So you see this thing where, because a voice recording was played and things like that, we live in a world where a lot can be achieved. So just because somebody is playing voice recording does not necessarily mean that things cannot be manipulated. Okay? And it does not mean that that person too cannot be used. Okay? If you know how far science has gone, you will not just sit down and because the voice recorded tomorrow, it can be you. Okay? It can be you on a video, not on a voice call. It could be you on a video saying something that you know fully well that you never said, you were never there, but they can create and make it happen. Anything is possible. Just very little things that are not possible right now, like creating a full human being and breathing into that human being just as God created us and that happening. Those are one of the things that cannot happen yet, but so many things can be happen. A lot of things can be manipulated, including this weather that you see and things like that. So don't be in a hurry to just jump in and say, oh my goodness, you know what, this and that, So when I see people coming in with the insult, she has not dropped any receipt that shows that, yes, that transaction did happen. Okay, even though somebody is saying, oh, I paid this person, it's still that person's word. If you believe that, okay, Natasha was saying that thing, it's still Natasha's word against Oby Ezekwesili's word. Did Natasha send her receipt where she paid the 100 million? And if she, okay, maybe Professor Mgbeke has the receipt if that did happen, but she has not posted it yet. But you believed her words that she said to you that it did happen because she played that recording. Why don't you give the same opportunity to the other person? You people try to balance something and don't insult people. The same thing, I was asking the question on Professor Mbeke's page. You are not Professor Mgbeke. You people just flocked in and started, what is my business with supporting Sandra Duru or supporting all of them? All of them get their money. All of them, they groove with their political. Now, me won't go carry their fight. They fight. My own is for the betterment of our nation, not nothing concern politicians. You understand? So there's no way I'm going to be looking, oh, let me be swiping the back of Oby Ezekwesili or petting NATASHA or petting Professor Mgbeke. All of them are politicians. Anything is possible with them. And now they know what then they do over there with them. But just give people opportunity. These insults are not necessary. The next commenter said, he who alleged must proven. You all are keeping us too long to see evidence. I refuse to be a blindly follower. Okay, I guess person was trying to say person refuse to be blindly following people. This one say, mommy, where is your evidence? Where is NATASHA's evidence? This is what we are asking for. Since all this, while some of them are comment now, wow. Since all this, while is that too much to ask? Someone now brought evidence against you. You have no single evidence to counter her. No, now, madam, please, did you collect 100 million? Okay, so a lot of people are still asking if she did collect 100 million. Let's go into the other comment section and take 2 or 3, and then we'll go over to Professor Mbeke's page. I'm trying to quickly. Okay, so Professor Mgbeke actually came into the Oby Ezekwesili's post, and I see her as I opened the comment section of the first post she made about this, the one that she said memo of the, she tagged that, she said, Oby Ezekwesili, tell NATASHA to sue me. That's what Professor Mgbeke is telling her, okay, that she should tell on the, let me just read the first line so you know the one I'm, yeah, so you know the one that I'm, you know the one that I'm talking about. It's the post where she said the world sees how they've captured your the public institution. Okay, so underneath that one is the one where no, I think wait. Okay, it's underneath the one she said memo to Senator Akpoti Uduaghan and all the honorable citizens of Nigeria. I think it's underneath this one that she said, yes, it's underneath the one that she said memo to Uduaghan, that Professor Mgbeke herself came in and commented and tagged Oby Ezekwesili and said, tell NATASHA to sue me. And then she continued, that's Professor Mgbeke commenting again underneath Oby Ezekwesili's, Dr. Oby Ezekwesili's page. So she said, Dr. Oby Ezekwesili, your statement tonight is regrettably baseless and hollow, and sounding less like a principled stand and more like the lament of a once revered leader who choose sentiment over substance. As someone who has won the badge of motherhood for decades, we expected you to offer Senator NATASHA Akpoti Uduaghan the kind of wise counsel befitting a stateswoman and a mother, and not to embolden her in falsehood, nor mislead her into becoming a worse version of herself under your watch. Okay, this other commenter came in and said, Madam Oby Ezekwesili, Nigerians awaited you for about 2 days to see you do 2 things, basically. In our assumption of your usual characteristics, we thought you would do these things below. Number 1, Nigerians were waiting for you to admit in affirmative or denial outrightly whether you were paid 100 million by NATASHA H. Akpoti or not. It would have been easier to say than all this roundabout rhetoric and grammar you were struggling to convince us with. Number 2, Nigerians were waiting to hear you say you had constructed your lawyers to sue Professor Mgbeke, Dr. Sandra Duru, for defamation over the allegation. Number 3, at best, we thought you would realize your error, swallow your pride, and seek for national forgiveness for finding yourself in this mess. Nigerians are very forgiving. We will forgive without release of gloat. Therefore, having failed to do any of this, may I then submit that the absence of this assertiveness is looking like a credence to the allegation. Anyways, most Nigerians are not as gullible and hungry for anyone to attempt to send us on an errand and useful idiots. We discern very smartly and we know true lies. When we see one, the fact speaks for itself. Okay, so this one said truth is powerful. And it tagged somebody, SQ. I said, truth cannot be chained. It is stronger than the lion. Truth, when unleashed with charge through troop and loops, high walls, NATASHA Akpoti-Oduagha cannot cage the truth. So that's what they are writing underneath Oby Ezekwesili's post. Now, let's go over to Professor Mgbeke's, and let's see Professor Mgbeke's response. I want to quickly go through this. Like I said, I'll keep us all updated on what is going on, and we will move. Let me see. Professor Mbeke post back to back, back to back. So I'm trying to see what. Okay, 12 hours ago, she took a photo of Oby Ezekwesili and Senator NATASHA crying, and this is what she wrote. She said, rebuttal to Oby Ezekwesili's emotive propaganda masquerading as a memo. This is from Professor Mgbeke herself, okay? That's Sandra Duru. Madam Ezekwesili, your desperate attempt to reframe NATASHA Akpoti's well-documented pattern of falsehood and political manipulation as a cry for justice is not only intellectually dishonest, but also a gross insult to the intelligence of Nigerians and the integrity of our legal system. Let's be clear, support for justice must be rooted in veritas truth. What you are defending is not justice. It is the weaponization of gender narrative and public sympathy to obstruct lawful inquiries and shield your political allies from the consequences of her own inconsistencies, contradictions, and complete lack of admissible evidence. You claim an incorruptible record, yet your action now speaks volume. Inserting yourself into an ongoing legislative probe to stir public sentiment and derail due process under the guise of activism. This is a class case of obstruction of justice in the spirit and if not, in letter. If you were truly concerned about justice, you would advocate for facts, evidence, and procedure, and not emotional distractions or social media theatrics. Madam, your role as a former public servant comes with a moral duty not to lend your voice to charades designed to manipulate the judicial or the judiciary of public opinion. Your endorsement of a clearly discredited narrative bereft of verifiable proof is not activism, it is complicit. No matter how many sentimental hashtags or unwavering memos you post, the law is not swayed by emotional blackmail or public posturing. It is guided by actus rectus mens rea and prima facie evidence. And on all three fronts, NATASHA Akpoti has woefully failed. To the Nigerian people, the committee investigating this serious allegation must not be deliberately disrupted by individuals who exploit gender solidarity to shield political allies. No form of orchestrated interference or misplaced loyalties should be allowed to obstruct a lawful process grounded in truth, evidence, and justice. Though it has been adjourned indefinitely as NATASHA exclaimed and celebrated. Justice is not a gendered performance. It is a matter of fact, law, and conscience. Respectfully, a defender of due process and the dignity of womanhood, Dr. Sandra C. Duru. So this is what she said, responding back to Dr. Oby Ezekwesili. Now let's take the comments in her comment section. Okay, so this person dropped this comment in the other comment section and also drop it here. The one that said "Truth is Powerful" by Ufok Ebekwe Esquire. I've read it from the other side, so I'll just skip to the next comment I see on Professor Mbeke's page here. So this other commenter said, "See, there are two a wicked face. The same woman which the opposition used to bring down Goodluck Jonathan's government through her Bring Back Our Girls campaign and later abandoned her. Now another opposition is still using her and she has never learned her lesson. A very corrupt woman, so shameless. Talking about Dr. Oby Ezekwesili. The next one, she said, any man who has been falsely accused of sexual harassment or misconduct but is vindicated will commend your effort. If NATASHA is fabricating all this, I suggest she should be sent to prison if found guilty in court. The next commenter said, this is why Reno said this Obi looks like her character. I rest my case, Doctor. Thumbs up for you. These days, everybody's a doctor. Well, anyway, well, maybe she is. All right. So this other commenter said, how I wish I'm saying that because I don't know, because she uses two different, she calls herself Professor Mgbeke and she also calls herself Dr. Sandra Duru. So I'm really not sure which word. Is she a professor? Is she a doctor? Dr. Professor Mgbeke, Dr. Professor Sandra Duru. Anyway. Okay, this other commenter is saying, how I wish we have more of you in this land. Professor Mgbeke, there are activists and there are activists. Thank you for being who you are, madam. And Professor Mgbeke responded to that comment and said, okay, she's responding, I want to believe this is Yoruba because the person that wrote the comments name is Oladenhi. So she said, Emma Funwasa. Okay, don't know what that means. It's Yoruba. If you know it, and you watch till this extent, tell us what that means. Okay, so in the land care. Okay, so somebody responding said, in the land care, God forbid, let her stay abroad where she is safe. The evil in this country might infect her. Keep up the good work, ma'am, but please stay away from this cesspool called Niger. Okay, this next commenter said, the way you write now, what now you go do or special joy. You are an amazing writer. Professor Mgbeke responded back to that person, my darling big sis, and tagged her and said, I can work closely with dignified, responsible women like you and Auntie, and she tagged the other person, and still behave like someone running wild in the marketplace. Absolutely not. From you, my elders, I have learned humility, grace, and emotional intelligence. I am truly evolving better than I was yesterday. As for NATASHA, there is no trace in her behavior that she's ever encountered the wisdom of older, more experienced women, even after her encounter with Dr. Oby Ezekwesili. What a loss. Okay, so they continue. Someone said, I concur. She writes well. Kudos to her. The other one said, are you sure you are really fighting for a just cause? This is another commenter writing. So are you sure you're fighting for a just cause? Your memo is such a watery one that lacks substance. You should be explaining your role as a useful idiot rather than being adamant on standing by the lies of NATASHA. By the lies of NATASHA. Like I said before, some of these elders are the problems we are facing. Imagine as old as she is, one small girl will buy her brain and dignity. NATASHA, God have given us your match, if not superior than you. This other commenter said the role Dr. Oby Ezekwesili played during the Bring Back Our Girls campaign was merely to discredit Jonathan's government, not for the interest of the Chibok girls. Her activism can be misleading, deceitful, with a hidden agenda in most cases. This other person says, our yellow pawpaw should have just gone into acting jejely. When I watched the interview while she was crying, the tears looked so sentimental. Good actress, well done. And then this other commenter, I think this will be the last one I'll read here, and then we'll check another post that she's made. Because Professor Mgbeke posts back to back, responds to every. In fact, if you comment something, if you really want her to respond to something, just be well constructive on her page. She will respond to you. If you notice, when you check the comments that are really, asking, don't be insultive, don't be, because you don't go anywhere with that. She responds. She's very active on her page. So if you have any question also, you can drop it for her. She will most definitely respond. drop it on her most recent post. I believe she will see it and she will respond. But know that people will attack you for it, but she will respond. Okay, so this commenter said, Prof, if the allegations aren't true, NATASHA should clear her name. No time to check time. This senatorial seat is about serving the people, not pursuing personal agenda. Then Professor Mgbeke responded back to this person's comment and said, we are getting closer to the end of their madness and lies. Okay, so okay, we'll leave that one there. So let me see the post she did before on her page. I'm just reading from up to down, up to down, up to down, up to down. Okay, so the other one she posted, I think she posted about herself because she put her own photo. That's Professor Mgbeke placed her own photo there. So this one, she said, someone just sent me a screenshot of the usual annual circus from some certified non-entities in Imo State, and their same tired lies about recycled rants still stuck in the 20 years loop of bitterness and delusion. Meanwhile, I have been busy collecting divine wins, breaking boundaries, and shining effortlessly like the star that I am. Now tell me, why on earth should I waste my energy on one Emeka who's still struggling to afford data and gather his fellow useful idiots to impress politicians that can't even spell accomplishment? Hey God, Naija, we have women, oh. We have brutal women. Like the way this Professor Mgbeke talks, eh? Hi. She said the person can't even spell accomplishment, let alone match my success, intelligence, or strong network. I don't respond to noise from the cheap seats. I am too busy living my life. They can only stalk and screenshot. Keep watching. The shine isn't stopping anytime soon. We are shining. We're sharing the useful idiots card. Please queue up for your registration. Imo State chapter of GNH will be launched soon before the 2028 election. So trust me, Professor Mgbeke is not backing down. And may I also add, if you're not following Professor Mgbeke on Facebook, I'm not sure what you're waiting for, because the political brouhaha going on over there is not here. Okay, just you need to follow up. And this is, if you're a Nigerian, there are accounts on Facebook you should follow. Don't be only following gossip, skits, and things like that. You see all this political whatever. Follow up to catch up on what's happening in your nation, and follow up also all this big news to catch up. If you're not following CNN, also go and follow CNN's page, because Professor Mgbeke said she's going to be going on CNN also. Look, let's talk about things that affects us as much as we talk about G's, celebrity G's, reaction videos, public figures, this and that. Let's also talk about things that affect us, as a nation, in the world, and things like that. Anyway, she said they should go for their registration. Anyway, to finish up, she said, say me hi to your Etikwe, Eriokwe, Itibolibo, and your number one famous Iberibeism, Professor Mgbeke. So there's something else I would love us to listen to before we go. So let's take 2 or 3 comments here, and then we move on to the next. The first commenter here, like I said, I'm not reading in any order, I'm just going through it. Professor Mgbeke, how much were you paid to do this job for God's will, Akpabio? That's the question. This first comment I see here asks, and she responded to that person. Like I said, she's very active. Professor Mgbeke responds to comments, okay? Not all, but the ones that she feels she should respond to. So she responded back to this person that's asking her how much she was paid. She said, I am not doing any job for anyone, but for everyone. Nobody paid me. I am blessed. The next commenter said, if you can believe NATASHA without evidence, but won't believe Professor Sandra, then your attitude should be qualified with Iberibeism. Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next. She said, this other person, okay, this is just a continuous, but somebody responding to this one said, how much were you paid to support evil with no evidence? The other one said, 1G and H is spotted here again. Another one said, ha ha ha, okay, they're battling themselves here, nothing relevant. Okay, so let's go to the third post on Professor Mgbeke's page, and she posted this 20 hours ago, and it's from someone called Sakeni Okoribu. okay, and she put the person's handle at Kenny Okoligbo, a strategic communications consultant to the Senate president, has denied allegation that the Senate president ever contacted Dr. Sandra Duru, Professor Mgbeke. While NATASHA, this is the question I was asking as at when, so 20 hours ago, I had already asked this question before she posted this, okay? I said, why is she not addressing that part that they are saying it is his information that is on your phone around 46 to 48 minutes during your live stream? Okay, so this is the post that she, addressed it. I want to believe, because she says in his presence contacted Dr. Sandra Duru, and then in bracket she put Professor Mgbeke. While Natasha's distraction may be irrelevant, it's important to set the record straight. That's very true. It is important to set the record straight. She clearly trying to shift focus from the real issue, and we see through her tactics. Still, the truth must remain clear and on the record. Dr. Sandra C. Duru. On Professor Mbeke's platform, we stated only fact and not lies. We do not manipulate or mislead the public. I saved his number exactly as he introduced himself to me, and I made it clear that if I had needed any information from me, he should join the Facebook Live session because I don't know him personally. He had called to ask if I had gone live. Since I had earlier announced I had been live on Professor Mgbeke at 7 p.m. However, I ended up switching my personal Facebook account a few minutes after 7 p.m., which he wasn't aware of. There's absolutely nothing I think here, I believe what Professor Mgbeke is saying here, because I was also waiting for that live stream on Professor Mgbeke, and I didn't see it, so I didn't watch her live until it was over. Then she shared it too, so which I don't know if it was a deliberate act, or she's saying okay, she switched. So it's possible that a lot of people were on Professor Mgbeke waiting for her to go live, but instead she went live on Sandra Duru, her personal page. Okay, so she continued and said, "There's absolutely nothing to hide about who contacted me or about the numerous calls and messages I have received from media houses and journalists concerning this matter. But I have chosen to share any updates or details solely on my platform with the relevant authorities handling the case. I give receipts and not manipulation. If I was hiding anything, why would I be transparent about it and even showing my phone publicly?" So let's listen a little bit of this and off we go. So let's see. Let's take it to the...
My name is Kenny Okoligbo. I'm the consultant communication and strategy to the president of the Senate. Yesterday, my phone has been inundated with so many calls, and I was wondering how come we were able to figure out my number. I'm recording my number. Of course, I don't pick numbers I actually don't know. But the few I picked drew my attention to the fact that there was a publication on Facebook, which I checked and I saw for myself. And this publication was made by Dr. Sandra Duru. As a result of the fact that I had gotten in touch with her over the allegations that she had made against Senator NATASHA. And I did that in my capacity as the communication strategist to the Senate president. It is important to state that if I do not get all sources that can boost, especially someone like me who has clearly said that her allegations of sexual harassment were false and baseless, I'll be failing in my job. So I did get in touch with Sandra, and she reluctantly did speak with me, but very few minutes. And eventually, I wanted to be sure of who she was and what her story was, because I was not too comfortable with some of the things I had seen. But by the time I eventually heard the voice recordings, that's where released by her, it gave me a reason to cringe, because one, that was not only the voice of NATASHA quoting. The scenarios are exactly the scenarios that has taken place. There are actually 4 members of the British Parliament that my boss even posted in his office that we are in the gallery, and she alluded to them in the voice recording. And there was also a sitting by the Ethics and Privileges Committee where she actually sent Mrs. Oby Ezekwesili and her lawyer, I don't know what her name is now, Abiola. And in that sitting, there was a disruption. And Dr. Oby Ezekwesili clearly said she was the first person that told the Deputy Chief Whip, Senator Oby to shut up. And he lays credence to what was said in that voice recording. And the most important aspect of
it. So I will leave this here. I don't want this live stream to be too long because I have stuff to do, but more posts will be coming, and more talk is out here. There are more questions to be asked. If we get into this particular post, you know, there are more things to be said. So that being said, it's 50 minutes into this. I'll end this live stream here, and I will see you all later on. There's more conversation to be had, so don't worry. We'll be back to talk more on that. Bye for now, and I'll see you all later.